A rare Cas L.
You're gonna die.
on the audio is not usually me. This week, Sony released their State of Play,
Ooh.
which is happens I think roughly every 6 months. There's one in May, another one in September. I don't think we're getting another one until like March, April-ish. There's a couple of things that we wanted to talk about kind of collectively. We all had several things that we were excited about. One thing that I wanted to highlight real quick is Blumhouse Games is releasing its first title. If you're familiar with Blumhouse, they put out 2/3 of the horror movies in the last 15 years have been from Blumhouse. This is their first game released for the PlayStation 4, 5, and on Xbox as well. It's called Fear the Spotlight, and it looks pretty good. I will say it's an older style. It's definitely not a AAA game, but it looks just fun. And this was definitely like a spookier State of Play. There were a lot of horror games that I was really excited about. There's one other one that I thought was The Midnight Walk, an entirely claymation animated video game, which is buck wild.
Been a while since we went there.
Yeah.
Now, is it? I'm assuming it's like digital claymation and not.
I think it
actual claymation.
I haven't done enough research to see like how much of it was like inspired by claymation and how much. I think they built it in claymation and then digitized it and animated it from there. I think is what happened.
Nearly impossible, I would think, to do a video game.
Well,
it was very set cameras.
Yeah.
As long as we're in the vein of horror, I mean, the sequel to Alan Wake, finally.
Yes.
Lake House. Oh,
looked quite good.
I mean, the first people have been screaming for the sequel to Alan Wake. So y'all got it. I mean, y'all aren't as loud as Core on Suikoden, but I'm just gonna say,
no one's as loud as me on.
Nice try.
That's true.
There's also one called Hell Is Us that I thought looked really interesting.
I mean, that's the title alone sounds interesting.
Yeah, third person action adventure that I thought was really good. There's another one called Metro Awakening that was like, I think all of the horror games looked at least like something I want to check out, if not deeply invest in.
Horror games have this like 3-year cycle, it seems like, where there's a bunch of good ones and then there's like none at all.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of good ones. I think what happens is every time they start doing like another Resident Evil, like news starts going around about a new Resident Evil, they're like, oh, we gotta make a horror game. It's wild. But a lot of good looking ones coming out.
I mean, if you want to keep going, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna, like, on the state of like horror games, I really think that the indie scene for horror games has had an influence on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, I watched one today that was an indie horror game. You as a player do almost nothing as far as like gameplay goes, but the story in it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think developers are taking that to heart that, it can be visually stunning, but the story is what they want.
Yeah.
They're relearning what we already knew.
Well, it's kind of weird because it's hard to apply the logic of movies specifically in gaming to horror in ways that other things work. Like children's movies are the highest grossing usually movies, and you can translate that to video games. If it's video games that children can play, horror movies are the cheapest movies to make usually, and the return on investment is the highest. The Purge they made for like almost $1 million the first one, and it returned like 129 million. Now that's inordinately successful, but those kinds of numbers can be seen in horror movies. When you go over to games, like it's not that much cheaper to
They're
make a
still
horror
very expensive.
game.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to the State of Play, Dynasty Warriors Origins.
Love a Dynasty Warriors game.
Just a game that I will just throw the money at you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Shut up and take my money.
Dragon Age Velguard looks really good. I'm sorry. Dragon Age the Velguard.
Yeah.
But like some of the the ones I'm excited about, the remakes. Soul Reaver, finally we're getting Soul Reaver on PlayStation.
That's the one that shocked me.
Just out of left field.
Yeah, I'm not upset by it by any means. I love the Soul Reaver games.
Yeah.
I want Legacy of Kain. But then, Horizon. You get to go back to Horizon. Yes, I'll play through it again. Shut up. I will play through it. I don't care.
I don't know. It's a remaster. I like it. I think it looks pretty. I'm a little bit concerned that they reshot some of the cutscenes, given that there's one very prominent character that you cannot shoot new scenes with. And I'm not super happy that they doubled the price for a remaster. Or you can pay, if you already have it, you can pay $10 to get the upgrade.
Okay, cool. I'll just do that. But
I do play a game with myself sometimes during these where I try and figure out if within the first few seconds of a trailer, if it's a franchise, if I can recognize it. I will say with the Hitman game, it was like 4 seconds in. I was like, I know what this is.
I'm kind of interested in Hitman VR. Monster Hunter Wild. I'm a Monster Hunter fan. Like it's like I'm literally wearing a Rathalos bracelet. I'm freaking in.